Samudra Manthana is nothing but a clear symbolic explanation for Mahakriya. Tortoise, the asana at the bottom, the Mount Meru, your spinal cord in the center, the Daityas and the Danavas, the Ida and Pingala on your right and left, the Adi Shesha snake used for churning, the Kundalini Shakti within you used for churning, and the Chaturmukha Brahma sitting on top of your Sahasrara, on top of your crown, to balance so that your Kundalini doesn't fall away. The residual karma that is carried on in your muscle memory from your previous births have to be used for you to transcend vertically upwards. Remember, Sanatana Hindu Dharma has never prescribed Swarga as the ultimate goal, unlike the Abrahamic religions. The end all of Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, is that you get Swarga, you get heavens. We in the Sanatana Dharma have always aspired for Moksha, for liberation. The heavens are not the only place which contain treasures. The Sanatana Hindu Dharma acknowledges that both good and bad emanate from one source, and that source is Shiva, and both of them, whether it is the Devas or the Danavas, both of them worship Lord Shiva. Sri Shambho Ramanatha. Welcome to another session of Shiva Purana. In the last session, we saw that the Devas and the Danavas, the Daityas, they were fighting, and King Bali's armies had overtaken the heavens where the Devas resided. And then, as a truce calling, it was Lord Shiva who invited all of them to engage in the Samudra Manthana, or the churning of the ocean, and to distribute between the Danavas and the Devas equally the treasures of the ocean. We also understood how this is symbolic of every sadhaka in the Kundalini Kriya Yoga or the Mahakriya Yoga. We also saw how Shiva brokers a peace, and he is instrumental in convincing Mount Meru. He is instrumental in convincing Adishesha Vasuki, the Devas and the Danavas. So there was a lot of work that went into creating the Samudra Manthana, and it is really very important that we understand one more final detail before we go forward. What is that? I told you that the Samudra Manthana happens in every sadhaka as soon as he starts doing his internal practices. And I told you that the vertical awakening of the Kundalini Shakti, which is also called the serpent Shakti, it is likened to, it is compared to Adi Shesha Vasuki. You must also understand that when we talk of Adi Shesha, it is the residual karma. Adi Shesha means the residual karma that exists within every human, because of which we are born into this world. So the Kundalini Shakti is nothing but the awakening of the residual karma that already exists in our muscle memory. I would like to add one more small bit before we go forward in the story. Shiva Purana also tells us that Sati, the incarnation of Ma Shakti, questions Lord Shiva, why do they hate each other? Why do the Danavas hate Devas and the Devas hate Danavas? Why is this? The answer of Shiva for this particular question is very interesting for each and every sadhaka, for each and every practitioner of meditation. Shiva says, this is because of two reasons: competitive ego and greed. Greed for more and more makes them competitive and self-centered. Brahma has made a very strange creation, exclaims Sati. To which Shiva answers, this is a very important point, that Brahma has created in different swabhavas different creatures. Swabhava literally meaning your original state of being. Swa meaning self, bhava means the emotional or the mental state. Your natural original state of being is swabhava. Swabhava is considered to be of three types. Sattvika swabhava, which is the most brilliant and the most divine. It's very fluidic. Sattvic beings can do no wrong. Then there is Rajasic swabhava. They are extremely egoistic, competitive, outgoing, extrovert. They are in between the extreme divinity of Sattvika Swabhava and the third one, Tamasika Swabhava, which is sluggish, dark, extremely self-centered and conceited. So these are the three Swabhavas, and then Shiva goes on to explain that the Devatas have been given lots of assets, lots of possessions and happiness. Bhoga, Vilasa and Sukha, the words that are used in Sanskrit. Bhoga means they're extremely indulgent. They're always in Vilasa, they're always in bodily lower pleasures. And Sukha, they're seeking for temporary happiness, not bliss, but happiness. But because of all this, they have also been given fear and abhimana, meaning pride. We are talking about the deities of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Look at what Shiva is saying. They have pleasure, they have happiness. They have been given a lot of material possessions. That is what there is in Swarga, in the heavens. But with that, they've also been given fear and pride. Remember, Sanatana Hindu Dharma has never prescribed Swarga as the ultimate goal, unlike the Abrahamic religions. The end all of Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, is that you get Swarga, you get heavens. We in the Sanatana Dharma have always aspired for Moksha, for liberation. Be it Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, any of the dharmas have always looked at getting beyond the pleasures of heaven, acquiring moksha. The Daityas, the second category of creatures created by Brahma, the Daityas, are given cruelty, kruratva, are given, because of kruratva, they are also being given kind of foolish bravery called udattatana. They are extremely cruel, but because of that, they will go and achieve whatever they want. extreme bravery, but bordering on foolishness. Outright foolishness, actually, not even bordering. Mankind, Manava, we, have been given greed and lust. If you look at majority of mankind, they are living in their carnal pleasures, the pleasures of senses. People want good tasting food. Doesn't matter if it is unhealthy. People want to indulge in sex, even if it means cheating your partner, even if it means a lifetime of problems. Mankind has also been given, along with these negative things, dharma and bhakti. The understanding of dharma is unique to Manava, mankind. Lower animals are given extreme hard work and self-dependency, or they can be self-reliant. If you look at a newborn bird, nobody has taught it to migrate thousands of kilometers. If you look at a turtle in the Marshall Islands of India, they go towards the sea innately. They have been given these kind of qualities, but they have to work very hard. They are every moment struggling for food and survival. Non-living things have been created for paropakara, for the benefit of others. If you understand the creation of Brahma, you will also understand that with every positive quality, there is a negative quality that is attached to it. To this, Ma Sati says understandingly that every living creature has struggle inbuilt, and it will probably never go away. The struggle for survival, the struggle for existence, will it ever disappear? My dear Shiva, Shiva says, maybe never, but it can be reduced. The struggle for existence, the struggle for excellence, the search for perfection may never go away, but can be reduced by Shiva Radhana. By understanding the Shiva Tattva, by reading the Shiva Purana, by practicing the yoga and tantric methodology, by regular practice of Mahakriya, which is given by none other than Sadashiva, we can reduce the struggle that is inbuilt into life. Just as this discussion is going on, Rahu, the commander of the Daitya forces, visits Kailasha. He says, how do we know that Nyaya, justice, will be given for Daityas? Shiva goes into a long monologue where he says, the heavens are not the only place which contain treasures. The ocean of this universe, you must understand, when he's saying, when Shiva refers to the Samudra or the Kshira Sagara, we are talking about the Milky Way. We are talking of a galactic level ocean which contains in it many, many, many treasures. To which Rahu says, we believe in the infinite wisdom of Shiva. However, we want to be on the side of the head of Adishesha Vasuki. Is that okay? Shiva says, Tathastu, so be it. Rahu goes back, convinces Raja Bali, the Daitya king, which in itself is a very beautiful dialogue. Actually, it's a trilogue. between Shukracharya, Raja Bali, and Rahu, the commander, where Rahu convinces or is trying to convince Shukracharya, who has extreme disbelief towards the Devas. Of course, nobody can reject what has been offered as a truce by Lord Shiva, who is also worshipped by Danavas. See, unlike the Abrahamic religions, the Sanatana Hindu Dharma acknowledges that both good and bad emanate from one source, and that source is Shiva, and both of them, whether it is the Devas or the Danavas, both of them worship Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is benevolent to both. He doesn't discriminate between the Devas and the Danavas, between the forces of good or the forces of bad, because he is the balance. In Sanatana Hindu Dharma, everybody is free to pray and to acknowledge that there is but one source of power, and that is Sadashiva, that is Paramashiva, Shiva the Rudra. Of course, Vasuki also comes, pleads, and says, "What are you doing, my lord? Will I not be torn when the churning happens and my body will wither away with all the twisting and turning that is going to happen between the Devas and the Danavas? Have mercy on me, Lord Shiva. Spare me." See, I have been telling you that this whole Samudra Manthana story is but for us to understand the Kriya Kundalini Yoga, the Mahakriya, where the Adi Shesha, the serpent power that exists within you, the residual karma that is carried on in your muscle memory from your previous births, have to be used for you to transcend vertically upwards. Adi Shesha here is asking for blessings so that for the betterment of all the entire universe, multiverses, the Adi Shesha power can be used. You too will understand once you start doing your Kriya regularly that it is your karmic past, the residual karma that is lodged in your body, which will get torn and withered as you try to ascend through the Sushumna, move upward, clearing one chakra after another. Samudra Manthana is nothing but a clear symbolic explanation for Mahakriya. Also, it is important to note that Mantarachala, Mount Meru, also expresses the doubt that when the churning of the ocean will happen, that the mountain might slip and drown into the ocean. To which again, Lord Shiva blesses, saying, this will not happen because Lord Vishnu will take the form of Kurma, a tortoise, and support the base of Mantarachala, Mount Meru. Isn't this what is happening in our own Mahakriya practices? The asana that you hold, the Siddhasana that you sit on, is like the Kurma avatara of Lord Vishnu, supporting your entire backbone, vertebral, spinal column, which is the Meru of your body. And so that you do not fall forward, backward, left or right, the Chaturmukha, the four-faced Brahma, is sitting on top of Mount Meru to create balance. this, remember this vision. Tortoise, the asana at the bottom, the Mount Meru, your spinal cord in the center, the Daityas and the Danavas, the Ida and Pingala on your right and left, the Adi Shesha snake used for churning, the Kundalini Shakti within you used for churning, and the Chaturmukha Brahma sitting on top of your Sahasrara, on top of your crown, to balance so that your Kundalini doesn't fall away. We must understand that all Puranas have in them contained esoteric secret teachings of the Sanatana Hindu Dharma, of the yogic tantric lineages and paramparas. Well, you can read them as stories being told to kids who do not understand the deeper meanings. But you can always go to a guru and understand the esoteric, deeper meaning that will lead you straight to moksha, that will lead you to liberation, that will take you higher than the mundane demand or mundane desire of heaven's Swarga. So there is no one who can reject the proposal of Shiva. Everybody agrees. I will take your question, and in the next session we will see what happens when the actual churning starts. I think there was a Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murtihi Puja Moolam Gurur Padam Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam Moksha Moolam Gurur Krupa. Shri Shambho Ramanatha, Shri Shambho Ramanatha, Adesh, Alak Adesh. We will meet in our next class.